rise for pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or alter on the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I will support that.
I didn't mean to co-opt anybody then. I don't think there is any.
No, I just asked. It's good.
Okay, moved and supported to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. The next item is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of Tuesday, March 10th.
I have a correction for the minutes. Under E, budget amendments, account 101-101-707 for elections should have read 101-101-706. That's all I have tonight.
If there's no more corrections, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes with that amendment, excuse me.
Okay.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the minutes for March the 10th as amended. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining, motion carried. The next item is the financial report. Hello, there's some agendas up here on the table. If you want to bring a packet.
We began the month with $426,471.99. We took in receipts of $102,870.24, and we made disbursements in the amount of $285,799.16, leaving us with an ending balance in the general fund of $243,543.07.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the financial report as submitted.
Support?
Moved and supported to approve the financial report as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. Moving on, correspondence, item A, Homeland Security Breakfast. Every year, the county commissioners and the Office of Homeland Security puts on a emergency services breakfast. And included in your packet was an invitation to that. It's going to be held on Friday, May the 15th at Alexander's Banquet Facility. So if anybody feels like going, the RSV is by May 11th. It's a very good breakfast. Then they teach us something about Homeland Security inside. Moving on, item B, Blue Water Convention Center. Grand opening of the Blue Water Convention Center is Friday, April 17th, which is 3 days from now. And then I think the public opening is on the next day, the 18th. So you're invited to go if you want. Might be very interesting. Let's see
Well, I hope.
their new facility.
What are the imperial services?
Yep.
What?
I'm just,
He's being.
I'm just hoping that this is good for the county.
Yes,
that it's-
I really hope it does
it's-
bring in
it
revenue.
probably will.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because a lot of communities who had these, it didn't turn out
Is the way it should.
as planned or advertised for that.
No, even the big one in Lansing, which is near all the lobbyists in the legislature, the one couldn't make a go of it. So,
But is it near a casino?
well, there's no casino on this side of the river.
Ah, well.
Well,
So
they're pushing, they're the groups.
it's pretty much dead right now.
I just don't get, it's not like DNA casinos, it's just, I
No,
just
me
don't.
neither,
get
but
it.
people, if
I
they're
think it's
coming to a
worth it.
convention, they're going to want to do something in their off hours.
Okay, moving on, item C is the Earth Fair Day. And this year it's gonna be, as it is every year, at the Goodles County Park, April 24th and 25th. And it really is a nice event. There's a lot of free stuff. You can pet a bunch of animals, look at a lot of exhibits, and free admission and free parking.
That's a good deal.
So if you're interested, it is a very nice event. And that's the 24th and 25th of April at the Goodles County Park.
Who hosted?
Listen, I know it's not 4-H. I guess it's the county. I don't know if the Fair Board hosts it. I know the county Park and Recs is involved.
Okay. Probably a lot of people
I bet
volunteer.
that's what it is. I bet it's
The
county parks and
conservation
recs.
office is,
Yeah.
wasn't this on their
That's
site?
nice.
Probably no doubt a lot of just volunteers, people just,
And the Board of
Oh,
Health.
they have a native tree and shrub sale.
they have face painting
Yep.
and top trolley rides.
There you go.
Soil Conservation sells trees in St. Clair County, the same as they do in Macomb County. And they sell a lot of trees. Okay, no old business. New business, item A, budget adjustments. We hit the end of the fiscal year and thought we had them all taken care of, but we spent couple bills came in that threw us over the top. So we have 3 amendments to make.
You want me to,
Sure, please.
All right, our budget amendments will be account 101, 726 for supplies for $223.51. Also, the next account will be 101, 371, 822 for the electrical inspector for $466.75. The next one is for maintenance and repair will be 101, 930 of 1753.57. The total comes to $2,443.83, which will be deducted from attorney fees, which will leave us with a balance in attorney fees for $6,089.55.
I make a motion the budget adjustments be approved.
I'll support that.
Moved and supported to approve the budget adjustments as outlined. Is there any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Patty, yes, Bill,
Aye.
and Colleen.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Item B, approve a credit card application and discontinue our debit card. For a number of years, we had a debit card and it did have a daily limit and all that good stuff, but it's tied into our main general fund account, and I don't think that's a good thing to do. I did speak to the head of First State Bank up there, and he agreed that it was probably a better way to go with a credit card and get rid of the debit card. So if something bad would happen, you would have more recourse action you could take.
Public entities do, just like individuals.
Yeah. Well, because
Credit card,
if they get your
indemnify you.
debit card, they've got the cash. Well, now you gotta get it back.
But I mean, on a credit, oh, I know
Right.
that, but on a credit card, they actually indemnify you as,
Yep.
oh, that's great. Oh, that's.
So, we kinda talked a little bit. You can stipulate if you want, somewhere probably between $2,500 and $3,500 would be the limit. If you have a preference, please speak up. We looked around and wanted to stay local. First State Bank offers one that's gonna give you no service fees and give you 1.5% rewards. We don't buy a lot on it in a yearly basis, but we do use it if we order stuff online, or sometimes we go up and get stamps from the post office, stuff like that. So I'm asking the board to approve a motion to apply for this credit card as indicated, and also to delete the debit card.
So move to apply for this credit card and delete the debit card.
Support.
Okay. Brenda, did you get the motion all right? Okay,
Who supported it? Colleen?
Colleen,
Yep. Moved and supported to apply for the credit card indicated, which is Visa Business Bonus Rewards Card from First State Bank, and also to delete our current debit card. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, have a roll call vote, please.
Colleen,
Yes.
Bill,
Aye.
Pat, Joe,
Yes.
and Dan.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, item C, clear zoning agreement. Last month, we had a proposed agreement with Clear Zoning to set up and maintain our website for a year, and we did approve that. And then they sent us a revised version of that agreement, and there was enough changes in it that I didn't feel comfortable just saying it was approved. So I put it back on the agenda. The amounts are the same. There is some optional costs if you choose to do it. We don't plan on choosing to do it. And it's a yearly $500 fee. And I don't know, I didn't read it today, but when I did read it, I think, it rolls over next year if you don't notify them that it doesn't. Our new website is up. It looks very good to me. CascoSt.Clair.com will get you there.
It's very, much better than before.
And our ordinance is on. The old website was so goofed up you couldn't get anything off of it. So I'm asking the board to once again approve this consultant service agreement with ClearZone.
I make a motion to approve the consultant, agreement for consultant services through ClearZone.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the consultant services agreement with Clear Zoning. Any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote, please.
Okay. Dan,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Pat, yes, Bill,
Aye.
and Colleen.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, item D, Eagle Scout recognition. Received a letter from Mrs. Mahoney. Says the Scouts, leaders, and the members of the Boy Scout Troop 390, a developmentally disabled troop, take great pleasure in announcing that Mark Pittman has been found worthy of the rank of Eagle Scout. And he is a resident of Casco Township. So we've developed a recognition statement from the board. And hopefully we'll have a motion to approve that. And before you leave tonight, we'd like everyone to sign that, and we can get it to Mr. Pittman.
Is it possible next meeting we can invite him here, present it in front of, or?
Well, I think they wanted it at the,
If they want to
Eagle.
make at the 29th,
Okay.
when they're having the presentation, because that's the Eagle, if you've never gone to one,
Yeah.
they're pretty good, comprehensive presentation when they award them the
Yeah.
Eagle Scout.
this is what the finished one looks like.
Been a part of it.
And it takes a lot of work to be an Eagle Scout. We're very glad and happy that he's achieving that. So at this time,
I make a motion to approve, to recognize Mr. Mark Pittman for his, reaching the rank of Eagle Scout.
I'll support that.
okay, moved and supported. Any discussion on that? I don't believe we need a roll call
No, we
vote for
don't.
that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, the motion carries. Don't forget to stick around and sign it.
Right.
Moving on, payment of the bills.
Are there any questions about the bills? If there, you have one?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I make a motion the bills be paid.
I'll support.
Support. Phil got it.
Joe.
Phil got it.
Okay, moved and supported to pay the bills. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
All right, Colleen,
Yes.
Bill,
Aye.
Pat, Joe, and
Yes.
Dan.
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item is citizens' comments. This is anyone in attendance who wishes to address the board with comments or questions is more than welcome to do so. We request you give the name for the minutes, but if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay, he was here first, and I don't know if he's got
He's
any.
not talking.
He's not talking?
He's-
Okay, can I just sit down? I don't like
You
standing.
can sit down, there's no crowd.
Okay, my name is Kim Beaversdorf, and I live at 3091, I had to think of my address. Used to live at 3072, that's why. Meldrum Road. I'm in the exact half mile between 31 and 32, okay, on the west side of the road. We
You're on the west side of the road
Yes.
with an odd address number?
Okay.
I think that doesn't seem right.
East is even sometimes.
I'm trying to 309.
West
is
side
that
of the
my
road
number?
should be an even.
3190.
Now.
I have dyslexia. I transpose my numbers all the
Now
time.
we're-
Sorry about that.
That's
3190.
moved or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to.
That's okay. I get nervous when I have to talk in public. Speech class didn't help me at all. Anyway, about a month or so ago, we received a letter from DTE that there would be tree trimming going on in the neighborhood and that we might see them around. It was just kind of a general, and do you think I can find it? Because I pretty much dismissed the letter because our property for the most part was farmland. And but our tree line, you know, it was a fenced tree line, and we bordered this old Stern farm, had, and as tree lines do, they catch seeds and then trees grow. So anyway, one of the attractive features of our property is this mammoth oak tree. It's probably 80 to 100 years old. It's a white oak. It is absolutely beautiful. And it's very healthy. In fact, we had a tree trimmer, because there's one branch that goes over our roof a little bit, and you know, with this whatever that algae is that's staining the roofs, when it has cover like that, it tends to take hold more. So anyway, we had someone come out, and he said, you know, with a white oak, you don't want to disturb them too much. That they don't really like trimming, and you want to just minimally trim. So only trim what you need to, and then leave it alone. Don't thin it out. Don't lighten it up. They don't like it, you know. So anyway, his price was a little too high, and so we didn't go for him. But also, there's a new disease that's apparently found in every county in Michigan. It's the oak wilt disease.
That's been around about 20, 30 years.
Well, it's becoming more prevalent in certain areas, and I've been loosely following it. I guess it afflicts red oak more than white, or from what I'm hearing. But up north, when it manifests itself, it will kill in a circle, like a circular pattern. You know, and we've already lived through the what was that? That one. But what was the one before that got the? No, there was an oak one. The worm. What was that?
Yeah.
Remember that worm?
Yes, the worm, yes.
I can't remember what it was called, because everybody did the grease band around their trees, and okay. So now we have this latest threat. So anyway, last week I'm walking around, finally it gets warm out, and I noticed this white dot painted on our tree. And our house is quite a distance from the road, and Philo's bought Stern's house. So Philo's live to the south of us, and they have a DTE power pole in their backyard and a DTE easement around this pole. It's not a very big easement, it's just kind of a square that allows for this pole, because the power in that mile is very erratic. It starts on one side, it crosses to the other side, it kind of zigzags, and then there's service lines all over the place. It's kind of a mess. And but anyway, when we bought the house, we later added a pole barn, and we had DTE come out and take a look, because we needed to upgrade our service, and the transformer wasn't big enough. So when they came out and looked at the pole, they decided to put a new pole. They put a bigger transformer. We had upgraded our service to the house and then the pole barn. And DTE, everything was fine. Okay, so now we get this letter, and there's this spot on the tree. So yesterday, I get a text message from Tim, and he says, hey, the power's out, which is kind of a pain in our butt, because when the power goes out, the electric garage door doesn't work, and he can't remember where our hide key is, and so he goes out to the barn and gets the generator going, and then I get a text a little bit later, never mind, the power's back on. Well, in the meantime, while the power's out, he takes a walk with our dog down the road, and I think their name is Schmidt. They have that big, beautiful brick. It's just a gorgeous home. And there's a DTE truck parked down there. So he's walking our dog, and then gets the guy's attention, the DTE worker, and Mr. Schmidt was home, and asks if it's okay if he comes on the property, because he wants to talk to the DTE guy. And Tim knows his stuff about electricity. So he's asking the guy what's going on with the power. So the guy dismisses him and says, you wouldn't understand, is how it starts. And because Tim had registered the electricity was erratic, the legs of electricity, and I don't understand it, but we're getting it wasn't completely out, it's kind of like a brownout. We're still getting voltage, low voltage, there's interference somewhere. So anyway, he's talking to this gentleman, and so then he tells him that it's trees. It's real simple, it's just these trees. And so we're coming through with this contract and we're gonna eradicate the trees. And Tim says, well, you know, our tree has this dot on it. And he goes, well, we're taking it down. And he said, excuse me? He goes, well, we're taking your tree down. Now, mind you, our tree is not in the easement. It's on private property. It's got to sit about 100 to 150 feet off the road, okay? It's shading the back of our house. I mean, at the most, the very tips of the longest branches may hang over maybe a foot over this. You know, it's not,
There's no lines by it at all.
no, I mean, there's no easement or anything.
Is there any power lines by your tree?
No, just at the edge, at the periphery. It wasn't a problem 5 years ago when they set the new pole and upgraded. There was no
What do you mean
trimming.
by the periphery?
You know how the tree has the big canopy?
Yeah.
There, it's at the very edge, maybe and it's just the service to our
So
house.
if it fell that way, it can take out the line.
If it fell that way, I mean, it can fall.
That
That's the service to your house.
It's just the service to our house.
So, well,
But it's a
see,
transformer, right?
it's the big transformer that you had to have.
There's a
put in.
pole and a transformer in your yard?
There's a transformer on that pole that because there's two houses that it services.
And when they put it in eventually, originally or later, whoever owns property signed an easement for that pole, but,
On their property, not on my property.
well, it goes on both sides of the
No,
pole.
I was brought my file that the easement is only on Philo's backyard. It's a square, and if I can find it, I'll mail it to you.
But the
Well-
easement runs under the wires, it's not just the pole.
It's the
But
wire.
the power lines come diagonally across my front yard to that pole. This tree is not in the way. They
But
perceive,
that line was there when you bought the place?
yes.
Well, originally somebody signed an easement.
Well, I can't find any easement.
Edison's got it, but
Yeah.
they keep them forever. They guard them with their life.
But what I'm saying is if you saw the layout of the lines in this tree, there, it's not in it, it's not
Anyway,
under
not
it,
to
it's,
interrupt you.
it's, my tree is
So
out
have
of
you
the way.
called Detroit Edison?
No, I haven't, because I went
That's where you
online
gotta go.
last night, you know, and what's going on is, because this gentleman's comment to Tim was, we're, DTE, the head of DTE is sick to death of all these power outages, and trees are the cause of about 50% of these, so they have a very aggressive eradication program, and they're cutting trees that are on private property that are not in easements.
You're listening to a worker, not a supervisor.
No, I'm listening to.
He's just a worker. You need to call his supervisor or somebody else. He doesn't control everything.
Well, you got it off the internet.
Well, I got it off the internet. There's a $54 million lawsuit
Yeah.
filed by Jeffrey Feiger in Bloomfield
But that was
Township.
ITC, not DTE. I
Right.
believe.
No, it says Jeffrey Feiger sues DTE.
No, 'cause he did sue ITC.
But so whoever they're suing the amount of,
ITC are the big tower lines.
no, these people did the same thing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
my understanding is if it's on private property,
Yes.
what you need to do is take some good photos showing exactly the location in regards to everything. And contact DTE and talk to a service representative. And tell them your concern. And tell them, you would like something in writing if they have the authority to cut that tree or not. And if they don't, you don't want them to cut it. They can possibly trim it if it's touching the wires.
Isn't a dot means a trimming and the X means a cutting?
Well,
It
then there's
could-
a rotten tree just down the road at the creek that's been there for
Is
as
that
long
got a
as I
dot
can.
or an X?
It's got a dot, and that tree's rotten, and it's been rotten for years.
Because you'll see some trees have X's.
Right.
They'll
Right.
mark to come down, and I understand the ones with the dots only a trimming.
Well, in my
So-
thing, why don't you take a really old rotten willow tree that's gonna break because
I
it's
have
soft?
no idea.
I don't know.
You know.
But you need to contact a service representative from DTE and have them explain it. Maybe that is just to trim it. Over in our cemetery, there's 6 great big pines that got a big X on every one of them,
And they're coming down.
and they're probably gonna come down.
Well, what they're
So-
saying in this suit was that these people did overdo it, and then once they're cut, it's too late. But they've been overcutting, and there's on private property, and they don't have the authority to be on people's private property, which is why there's the filing of this suit. So my fear is that DTE, being the monster conglomerate that it is, has put these contracts out in mass, and now that they're executing and people are finding out what's going on and they're trespassing and taking liberties because people are at work every day, you come home and your backyard's gutted, you know.
They came a couple weeks ago, they were in my front yard. When I pulled in, they came up, they were very polite, told me what was happening. And I knew that because other people down the road and that, so. Now, the pole that has the transformer that services your house, is it on your property?
No, it's next door.
Okay.
And that's where the easement, they've got like a box easement. And the reason I know about it is because they were gonna build a garage there.
Okay, does the transformer service both your house and the neighbor's house?
Yes.
Okay. Some ways, I did it with my house, I put my electric underground, but the pole with the transformer was on my property. It saves a lot of,
But there is
And
an
if I
easement.
had that option, believe me, I would, you know, if the pole was moved over and on the property line, I would gladly put it underground because our house is so close to the
Edison
property line.
loves when
Edison
people.
does it.
Edison loves when people put power lines underground. That easement you have overhead, if they can put it underground, they will. It'll cost
I
some
would,
money. to-
and that's right across my septic field, you know, so the diagonal
But
is,
there
I
is an
mean, it's-
easement under the wires coming in from the road. Guaranteed.
well, this tree still is way beyond that.
Anyway, you need to get a hold of DTE, and they might just contact you with the tree trimming company that's out here. I don't know if Captain's doing it or who's doing it. And they'll tell you, you know, what the dot means for sure, and if they have to go on your property out of the easement to trim the tree, or if they can get in with a bucket truck, or whatever. And then you'll know. And you can always ask for it in writing.
If they would give me that courtesy. My understanding is in Bloomfield and Birmingham, they didn't give
You're
people
not
that.
in Bloomfield.
I
You're
know,
out
but
here.
it's the same company.
There's always two sides
But
to every
there's
story,
no.
too.
Yeah.
Well,
You
but,
have to at least try to talk to them.
oh, and I just found this out last night, and then I called Colleen today, you know, to find out what
Right.
the township might know, because now Bloomfield
We
has.
don't know anything, actually.
Right.
About it.
But Bloomfield's phone started ringing off the hook when this started happening. So now they've partnered with DTE and gotten an agreement of how this will be handled. So I'm asking, you know, I'd rather be proactive than reactive, because once they're cut, they're cut.
Especially when there's a 100-year-old oak tree.
Well, yeah, that hasn't been hurting anybody.
Every once in a while, and they ask for addresses,
Right.
because that's where their work orders are, you know, for the day. So there, it is active. I mean, this is the time they're going to be doing it. And I don't know how far on people's property, if they're following the line, you
Well,
know.
DTE is
They
the
are.
one that has the easements, has the answers to all of this.
Yep.
We don't have privy to that.
Yeah, oh, we give them and Cap'n is the one that's been coming in. So if you see a Cap'n truck,
Have they given you any
chain
indication
yourself
what the
to that
schedule
oak
is?
tree.
No.
No, they just
don't.
come in, and if
Then
they
they
don't
just
know who owns a piece of property, they come in and get the name of the property owner so they can contact them.
That's it.
That's all they get
Yeah.
from
So
us.
is Cap'n also notifying people, as far as you know, or just DTE?
Just
we're-
DTE.
Well,
Right?
I'm not sure, but.
Cap'n used to,
Yeah, I think they're, you know, they're looking for addresses, they're looking to send letters or at least know what property they're going on, because they are looking at our plat maps coming in. I haven't seen them in a while, but a couple weeks ago, they were in checking a few things, so this is the time of year they do it, you know.
Right.
Actually, they've been working part in the wintertime too.
yeah, they started in February. They
Yeah.
called me in January and said just to know that we're gonna be doing a lot of trimming this year. So if anybody calls and says, I see a big white truck or a pickup,
Yeah.
you know, that we're gonna be out there. And the other thing is the Public Utilities Commission is really on them about the trees. Because every time there's a storm and they have an outage, everybody goes ballistic, you know? And what's the best way to get rid of the trees? Get rid of them.
Well,
and never
that's
have a
fine
problem.
if they're cutting within their easements, but if they're, you know, if they're taking liberties and going outside
Well,
of
take
easements,
some good
which,
photos, but I don't believe that if it's not in the easement, I do not believe they will cut your tree down without your permission.
They
I
told
feel very
us-
strongly on that.
They told us last year, I believe, that if we didn't let them trim the trees and there was any, that they would go to court and get a court order to have, that they could
Right.
go to court
Yeah.
and get a court order to have those trees trimmed. And also, if there was a power outage due to those trees.
That
These
they-
are just to our house, there's not no other party involved, that it could be extraordinarily expensive. And that's probably true.
I did sign an agreement for with DTE to take down the trees.
So did I in front of my house.
So get a hold of DTE and get a service representative. I think they can help you answer your
Okay.
questions.
Well, like I said, I just wondered, when something goes on the news and then somebody's high profile as Feiger gets involved, you know, I'm wondering what you knew, if they've moved on to the next county, because this gentleman from DTE indicated that it's coming down, no questions asked, we're happy to go to court, you're gonna lose, and he was just very argumentative.
Obviously, he didn't know, because he just said that the circles, when they trim it.
No, he told us it was coming down.
Well.
And I'm telling you again, he's only a worker.
Yeah.
He can say what he wants, but if you get a hold of somebody that actually know what's going on, because our trees were with red X's, not little white dots.
And sometimes Mr. Feiger, he'll, like a lot of people who want to grab your attention, they'll omit certain kind of information just to that to grab your attention.
Right. No, well, there's several stories in an interview with the homeowner who lost 100 trees in her backyard, and they took out all the brush, all the saplings. They have a name for the project, which they've now changed because it sounds bad. It's like ground to sky or something. They just want to clear and
I had a
make a
boss
run.
several years ago at Price who lived in the West Bloomfield area, and they always would have blackouts, and it'd be like 5 days long. And he asked DT crew, what'd be a good way to get around it? And he says, invest in the generator.
We have a generator. I mean, we haven't had our
Most people out here do.
Yeah, and our tree, that tree has not dropped one branch that's contributed to this. I mean, a lot of it is the emerald ash borer that's killed the ash trees, and they're falling down, you know, and taking out power.
Yeah.
But, you know, just to come through and clear a path, I mean, we've lost so many trees anyway. I don't want to lose something that's been there for so long just because they think that, you know, it might be a problem, so we're going to tear it down.
But get a hold of DTE and then they can, if they can do it over the phone, explain to you, have them email you out all the information, just so you have it documented from them of what the situation is. I don't know what more you can do.
Right. No, that's why I came to the township, just wondering what the township as a governing body
We have no
knew.
control over private property at all.
Yeah.
Ideally, Edison would like the barrier thing, but I don't think people would like to pay the cost of it. It'd be
I can't-
very
I can't
expensive.
go for- Wasn't that
What's that?
when?
Why they're up in the air, it's inexpensive and easy to maintain for different stuff. Buried, it's protected,
Yeah.
okay.
Because I
But it's very
don't think I
expensive
paid
when you
that
start
much to have
digging.
mine put under.
That's from your house. I mean, if they took the line in front of your house.
Oh, and put that under, oh yeah,
Yes.
that would be
Yep,
expensive,
yep.
I got you. No, and that's what I did, I put all mine
Yep,
under.
no, mine cost me about $300. if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
wasn't that much.
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Yeah, I
It
do
might
too.
be easy to value the cost of repairing power lines down by trees, but it's really hard to value the aesthetic beauty and the ambience and the thing that the trees add to
Right.
a person's property, and what the value of that is really great. I mean, to many of us.
It
We
is.
put a
Yeah.
lot of time in trying to get that to happen and to
Right.
keep it well. And I think that it's too bad that the technology is trumping a lot of that all over the world.
Right, and well, and it's the carelessness that's spawned by man that has made a lot of these problems, and so then the answer is to, you know, just keep cutting it down, everything,
But
you
Well,
know.
there should at least be some balance. We all need power.
Right.
And we don't want the power to go out because of our trees. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to cut every branch off of every tree.
Exactly.
To achieve that end. And I think that this extreme clear cutting is probably, there's other ways of approaching this, like they have in the past.
Yeah.
Maybe more aggressively, but not necessarily in a total removal approach.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for your time. I will definitely make a call, and if I'm not satisfied, I'll be back.
Well, you got
Because-
Channel 6, so
Yeah.
maybe-
Oh, well, I don't get Channel 6, but,
Well, everybody else does.
yeah, well, I don't pay for cable. I have an antenna still. But there was a neighbor around the corner on Fred Moore who's losing 50 trees. I mean, I think you're going to hear from more people who are unhappy that this is going on. 50.
I'd call that
It must be a
maybe,
little brushy ones.
No, they're beautiful pine trees. They planted a bunch.
And they
Well,
planted
they
right under
planted
the wire.
I don't-
Yeah, then shame on them, because the people, my property, the owners before, they planted them right underneath the wires.
Right.
And they're ugly and scrub, and I'm glad that Edison's gonna remove it.
Well, and a lot of people plant the trees to, border their property, and typically, like in your front yard, that's where the power lines are. And I don't
And
have,
to serve as a windbreak and a snowbreak.
right.
right.
But if they're in a utility easement, knowing that if they get big, they're gonna,
Trim them up.
Everybody doesn't know all about easements and everything. And maybe they should know everything, but they don't always.
Yeah.
Okay,
know about it.
Thank you for
coming.
no problem.
Yes, unfortunately.
Wayne, you got any words of wisdom?
No, nothing.
No? Okay.
What an excited
Are we
guy.
going to announce that the Sucker Fest this year is on Sunday, May 3rd? I don't know what the,
If you didn't hear, she's telling you that our Sucker Fest will be May 3rd this year.
In Adair.
in
In
Adair.
Adair.
I don't know what the parade route is, but
I think it's up St. Clair Highway to Hessen Road to Putticut down to Palms, and Palms back down to here.
Oh, they're not going to
No, they
Mayor
used to go
Road.
past Palms,
They
unless they
used to
changed
go
it.
Oh,
Putty
really?
all the way over
They
to
don't
Mayor
move the
Road
town.
and then up.
yeah.
Then they came back Adair Road.
Well, maybe
So
they
mind your
changed
manners
it.
and have a good time.
You gotta go to find out.
Go to the,
You
Go
know,
to
you're
the-
probably right, you're probably keeping it off of Palms Road since it's,
They don't-
yeah, I don't think they like to do Palm Zone, it's more the back road.
yeah, you're probably right.
Anyway, since sunny Adair,
Yeah.
May
And
the
it's
3rd.
Maybe-
Well patrolled by the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department.
Yep. they've got a lot
Serviced
of
by
police there.
Richmond, Lennox, EMS also.
And 2 days later, on May the 5th, is the election.
Yes,
So if you're gonna gripe, come out and vote. That's all I can tell you.
there, so right.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
Well, I don't know, I think, some of us, we went up there to the planning session.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, it was interesting, they had, they talked about the city of Port Huron has you know how we do ordinance enforcement where we send letters and that?
Right,
Well, they do, it's almost like a traffic violation now, how they ticket people.
a
It's
civil infraction?
Yeah, and it's actually have cleaned up the city, it's drawn state attention about this Port Huron model. But it's something, I mean, they have a police department.
Yeah, they
and
can
have-
do
And
that.
they have like a blight court. I mean, it's well beyond the scope of a Casco, but it's kind of a nice success story for a city like Port Huron.
It was a
that-
really nice story.
that I'm
Because they
gone.
work with the community to try to help people that have trouble cleaning up their property and bring in resources to do it. And sometimes they do it themselves and bill against the tax roll. So it's kind of a broad sweeping but cooperative approach. And-
Good.
And they've gotten a lot of compliance out of it,
Yeah.
without as much pain as before.
You know,
And it's-
animal control has gone from a misdemeanor offense to a civil offense. 'Cause they can get it through the courts quicker,
Yeah.
a lot easier.
And like I said, it's attracted state attention. Communities around the state are looking at this Port Huron model to clean up their communities.
Wonderful.
And then there's a gentleman from SimCog who talked about the road, the initiative. It's all.
Get us started.
Oh, yes.
Just.
Okay, anything else? We are up to adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn?
I'll support.
Moved and supported to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.
And
They'll want you to stay, I think, to sign.
Oh, yes.
And this is.
I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We gotta have
Support.
official.
Bill has some nice ones.
Okay, yeah, let's get a
I'll get one
list.
from Bill, it's kind of like an ink roller,
Okay.
you know, very smooth. I'll go
All in
down.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. 3 ayes,
I'll run
motion
down.
carries. Approve the minutes of October 14th, 2014.
So moved.
This situation really bothers me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Three ayes, motion carries. Receiving board will be Brenda Loper and Leslie Markert. Need a motion to approve the.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Three ayes. To approve my election inspectors, they will follow as
On top.
Red, Richard Lydecker, Bev Coleman, Lorraine Lamasson, Kim Leduc, Wayne Baumgarten, Susan Macker, Arlene Schweiger, Jametta Lewis, Leslie Marker, and Colleen Stover. Motion to approve my inspectors.
So moved.
Support?
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
I wish I
Three
had
ayes,
that.
motion carries.
Just-
You have a nice
Motion for
smile.
No,
adjournment.
mine is.
So moved.
I wish my mom, she hasn't came back.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.